Hello guys, this is Chris Davies from CarProductsTested.com, and today I'm in the long-term Kia Sportage. This is the 2016 model, the new one, the 4th generation. It's a KX3 version, which is the KX denotes that it's an all-wheel drive model. It's the 2 litre CRDI turbocharged diesel with 134 horsepower, and they've also got the 6-speed automatic gearbox in it as well. So yeah, the KX3, so you start at the model ranges 1, 2, 3 and 4. There's also a GT line, and there's also obviously KX versions, which are the all-wheel drive versions. The 3 denotes that this is like the sort of third up in the range. So it's got leather seats, sat nav, etc, etc, and so yeah, I thought I'd take you on a test drive. And I've had this car for around a month and a half now, and basically this is part of a 6-month test, so I thought I'd update you. So there we go. I actually asked for the KX4 version, which is the highest spec, because I've got this over winter, and sounds a bit wimpy, but I actually wanted the heated steering wheel on it, and there's a couple of other things, a slightly larger touch screen, but wasn't to be. Never mind. So we're doing 60 miles per hour now, and this is quite a bumpy road actually. The 4th generation Kia Sportage has, it's a whole new car. It's not a facelift. It's a revised. It's basically a new car. It's suspension has been revised, body, etc, stiffer body, better suspension, quieter ride. You know, they've done a lot to make this car more refined in their ever-long quest of pushing the boundaries of sort of what you can get for a, you know, what used to be a mark that was not really desirable. Now I think Kias are a desirable car, and this Sportage is lovely. I really like it. Sorry for the noise, by the way. Typical British winter's day. This is, you can see from the date, it's the 6th of January, and there's no snow, but instead we've got heavy rain, even though it's 3 degrees Celsius, so it's cold and wet. The thing is though, I don't mind driving in this weather with this Kia. The all-wheel drive is comforting, knowing you have that, and you can see it. It's really composed through the bends. It's really got a good feel to the drive. There's things like they've added the I'll put some more information up on the screen. You could also go to CarProductsTested.com for the full review of the Sportage. The first update will be up alongside this video. Basically, they've just adjusted things like the steering. They've added in the motor into the actual steering column. Sorry, not, it's off the steering column now, and it's directly onto the steering box, which gives a more direct feel. And I must say, it's really nice. I wouldn't call it numb. half work well. So there's things like the towing capacity has been up to 2,200 kilograms. So if you're towing a caravan or trailer regularly, you've got a higher towing capacity now. Let's just go the other way again. It's a nice drive actually. And on this model, it has the same horsepower as before, 134 horsepower, but they've actually upped the torque, and I'll put the stats up on the screen for that. But there's around 39 pound-feet of torque more than there was previously, and also Kia have spread the torque out across the rev range, so you get a smoother flow of torque. It doesn't run out as easily. Weather is really bad. But I've got my heated seat on. This is the thing about this Kia, it's got 3-stage heated seats in the front, 2-stage heated seats in the back, which I've had passengers in a fair few times recently, and they've absolutely loved it. Not just the heated seats and being in the back as well, but also the fact that there's ventilation into the back. There's also to keep you warm, and there's also the seats recline really far, almost to the point of you being able to sleep in them on a long journey. Well, you could definitely. They're very comfortable, and that's another point. The seats are now more comfortable. Front and rear, they've used a whole new type thickness of foam, and the density of it, and all sorts of things like that in order to give good comfort. There's not much roll at all on this car. Very enjoyable to drive actually, and it doesn't feel like you're doing 60 miles per hour. In fact, I might as well just put the cruise control on. So if you'd want to know, 60 miles an hour, 60, we're doing approximately 1,750 RPM, and on the display, according to this, we are getting, not the average, ignore that, I said that a while ago, but should be doing 40-45 miles per litre to the gallon at this speed. We're going downhill, so it's the reading slightly off. I like the old Sportage, the 3rd generation version anyway. It's old now, but it's this new one's just come on. It's, I wouldn't say leaps and bounds, but what Kia have gone for is the perceived and actual quality of the cabin. And what that means is when you look around the cabin, the quality catches your eye straight away, and the actual quality is where you sort of run your hand over it. So you've got a soft touch dash that's stitched, and the plastics, although there's hard plastics scattered here and there, as in most cars, and the actual effect of them is really nice. It matches the soft touch plastics, so actually they look like soft touch plastics. But they've got a really nice screen. That's a 7-inch. You can also get an 8-inch touchscreen on the higher models, and it's just things like this. There's a satin edged vent slots. There's also the piano black trim, which I don't always like, but it's actually, it looks nice, it suits the car. One of my favourite things is actually, let's turn that down. Good stereo, by the way, decent speakers, really nice speakers, good rounded sound from them, good mid-tones, good bass, especially in the back. The passengers get a better sound than we do in the front. But but what I like is the map. Okay, it's basic now because it's only we're down the country lane, but you know, it's very clear, it's very easy to use. It's things like you can turn the voice on here with just one quick touch, the voice is muted, and I love things like that. That's exactly what you should have as a driver. You shouldn't have to mess around looking for the mute button for the satellite navigation. And you know, there's these buttons down here. Again, as a driver, I do not like tons of buttons or things that you have to do on the touch screen instead of, you know, having buttons here that's quick and easy to get to. But the Kia have really thought this out, and so, you know, you could use these with gloves on, and they stand right out from the dash, not flat against it. So they're easy to see, and they're well lit as well. So you know, you don't even have to think about where they are after a while. It's just natural. You just finger lace to where it is. So again, Kia have, going back to the drive, Kia have, as mentioned, upgraded the suspension. They've upgraded the body shell so it's stiffer, so it's better drive, I believe, and double check that, I'm sure I read that in the literature. The steering's more positive, and the noise into the cabin is a lot better than it used to be. And these are big wheels. They're either 18 or 19 inch wheels. Either way, they've got fairly low profile tyres on, and yet road noise is, you know, very, very good on it. The actual, not only the road noise, the wind noise, it's down on both. It's very good car. Gearbox wise, they've still got they've got a torque converter. Didn't read in the literature whether or not it was, I couldn't see whether or not that was revised. From what I could see, it doesn't look like it has been, but the engines have definitely been overhauled and drastically revived. A lot of standing water now around here. Yeah, so it's a 6-speed torque converter automatic, and when I first had the car for the first couple of weeks, I really didn't like the gearbox that much. I thought it was outdated, I thought it was sluggish, and I couldn't call it unrefined because it's pretty nice on that side of things. It shifts gears nicely, but the fact of the matter is, when I first got the car, I thought, well, they've done all of this, and yet they're still putting a 6-speed torque converter, which isn't as fuel efficient as the new DSGs. They actually have got a DSG gearbox, but they only put that on the GT line spec. Whereas Hyundai, for the same, the model that they do, which is the same as the Sportage, it's a Santa Fe, I think, or Tucson, can't remember. But basically, they have the DSG gearbox, but I think they put it on the diesel as well. But the DSG gearbox is a 7-speed, and it's a lot nicer than this torque converter. Why Kia chose not to put the more refined 7-speed DSG onto the diesels, I don't know, but there you go. I actually prefer the DSG gearbox. And going back to it, I actually quite like this now. It does feel a little bit old school, the gearbox. It should feel more refined, especially when it's cold. It tends to be, you know, sluggish, and it holds the gears for too long, and you're thinking, when are you going to change? And even when it's warm, when you're just driving along, say like this, 40-50 miles an hour, if I really accelerate hard now, it tends to sort of hold it for ages, and you know, it'll go up to maximum revs, and it'll just sit there, and you think, come on, change. It'll take a while to do that. Like now, why has it just jumped to nearly 3,000 RPM? I mean, I don't understand why it did that just then, but there you go. So it can be slightly irksome, and again, changed down. Don't really need it to, but there you go. But the actual gear changes are smooth. Can't complain about that. It changes excellently, and also you've got a manual mode as well. So manual mode is pretty nice, really. No floppy paddles, just off the shifter. But there's also a sports mode as well, which does make a lot of difference. So if you're coming onto if you want to overtake, like now, if I had the space to overtake, this guy's doing 40 and 60. Actually it's 50 at the minute, but if I wanted to overtake, just put it in sports mode, and that does make a lot of difference. More responsive throttle, and does changes down gears quicker and stuff like that. So regarding the all-wheel drive system, it's good to talk about that today, considering it's raining very heavily. The roads are greasy as well. It's not rained heavily for a while. Normally it'll drive 100% to the front. 100% of the power will go to the front wheels, or 100% of the driven torque will go to the front wheels. If it slips, if it feels the car slipping on any of the wheels, it will send 40% of that to the back. So then it's split, and you've got a lot, it's a lot more stable. And there's also, interestingly, if the weather is really bad, they've actually included a lock button, like a differential lock. So when you press that, you can use that up to 25 miles an hour in slippery conditions, and that gives 50% front, 50% back, so an even split, in order to allow the wheels, tyres to do the best to get you out of it, whatever situation you're in. I thought I'd spin around, because being behind those cars for too long, I thought there's no traffic. For a diesel, actually, you might be interested, because it's winter, obviously. It's 3 degrees now. When I got in the car, it's that type of weather. It's just awful. You're just damp. You just don't want to be outside today. It's actually warms up really quickly. The engine kept pumping hot air through. Within sort of 4 or 5 minutes of the car either sitting idle or going down the road, you've got nice hot air coming through the vents, which is always a bonus for it to heat up quickly. And the heated seats are excellent. I had to turn mine off, they get so hot. Just things like that make the Sportage a very sort of say desirable, but I would say a very appealing car. Myself, I think it's great. It's just over, this model KX3, just over £28,000. That's everything on the road, and this is the Alchemy Green optional colour, which is around £500 something extra for the metallic paint. I must say, this is, this road's this road's particularly rough. It's off camber, you've always been pulled into the sides, which are themselves potholed, and it's a very quiet ride and drive. It's very enjoyable. I mean, I had to put it in sports mode up that hill because it was bogging down on the gears. It's pretty steep, that section. As you can see, no difficulty at all around these bends. And so if I just wanted to have a little bit more of a sort of manual experience, it's not the fastest on sort of the the mid speed, sort of 50, 60 up around there and overtake, and it isn't exactly great at that, even with the uprated torque. However, Kia do offer a 182 brake horsepower model, which I've tested in the past, and if you want better towing, you know, better performance for towing, or you simply like having a bit more, well, quite a lot more extra torque actually, go for the 2 litre 182 brake horsepower version. It is dramatically different. As you can see there, changed down a couple of gears for that bend, and this one sort of just wafts up to speed really. In a way it's actually got a sort of bit of feel of a luxury car, and like an older luxury car, like an old Rolls Royce, something in the way it wafts up to speed. Because it doesn't push you back and you see, you know, you're not like flung everywhere, but you know, it's just the way it sort of travels up to speed is quite stately really, strange, even though it's obviously a Kia, it's not anything priced like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or, you know, Jaguar or Mercedes, anything like that, but I really do like this. The only thing I slightly don't like is the seats are very wide in the front, and going around corners do tend to move about a little bit more than I'd like in the seats. I'd like a bit more shoulder support. But this is a car that goes into the American market and sells well there as well. It's also a well-selling car in Europe, so they're obviously having to keep everybody happy. And the wide seats, they are comfortable when you're on motorway, but just for country roads, etc., I do feel like I'm sliding about a bit in them, and I'm not exactly skinny, so you know, it's I guess if you bought a GT line, it might have slightly, the GT line is a sporty version, and it might actually have slightly more clean seats. Very relaxing car to drive, this new 4th generation Sportage, and you know, it doesn't matter what the weather's like, it's enjoyable. I mean, in this weather it's really, you know, there's standing water everywhere, you get an occasional deep patch of rain that'll pull the car slightly sideways, but the stability or traction control system seems to be doing its job really well. You know, doesn't feel uncontrollable at all, and I'm still doing near the speed limit on these tight, tiny British roads. Kia develop a few of their cars specifically for Britain, and they've got like a unique road system apparently. But this one, you know, really does suit our roads. It's nice tight chassis, good handling, and I wouldn't change anything on the handling and on that side of things, or the ride quality. Ride quality is very good. Like that. Regarding the gear changes, just then it was just sat in, I'd put it into cruise control and on a slight downhill. I was just at 60 miles per hour, and I put it in cruise control, and yeah, it was sat in 5th gear, I thought it was. So when as soon as I put it into manual mode and selected the gear above, it actually went into 6. So anyway guys, I hope you've got a good idea of what this is like. I've got this for another 4.5 months, and this is one of the best selling SUVs in its class in Europe, by the way, and it's probably for good reason. You get a lot for your money. A lot more refined than the last model. I like the last model, but it's even more refined than that. This nice low dash as well. It's lovely to see over while you're driving, and good vision out all the windows. So thinned the A pillars out at the bottom here, so you've got a better vision. They've lowered the wing mirrors as well, so you've got better vision. And there's just a lot to like about this car. Personally, if it was me, just because I like even more refinement on cars, I'd go for the KX4 model because it's got the heated steering wheel. And I also wouldn't have just the front wheel drive model, but I do live out in the countryside, as you can see from where I've been driving. In winter we do get some bad weather, and I do tend to do a lot of country road driving, so I would have the 4-wheel drive, but that's up to you, whether you have front or all-wheel drive. So if you'd like to go to carproductstested.com, you'll see the updates numbered from 1 to however many on the Kia Sportage, and hope you enjoy them. Please leave a comment on the site if you've enjoyed the article. If you've got any questions about the car you want to ask me, if you want me to do a specific videos, please put the comments on Car Products Tested, the comments box at the bottom of the article.